Hey guys, I'm the MCU Jedi, and welcome to my Avengers Infinity War review. Guys, I meant to have this up yesterday. I apologize for that. I just had like zero motivation to turn on a camera yesterday. I don't know why. I didn't. So I'm pushing it back to today. So guys, this is my non-spoiler review for Infinity War. Right after this, my spoiler review for Infinity War will go up. So make sure you're watching the right video if you haven't seen the movie yet. So first thing I want to start with is actually the characters in this movie. I thought they would have trouble telling the stories of all these characters, and I don't think they did. I think the Russos handled it really well. There's the Avengers, the Guardians, and then there's Black Panther. Like Strange. There's all those individual heroes, which that does actually that actually raises my main problem with the movie is all these characters, because at the beginning of the movie they're all in different places. Like the Avengers are split up. There's Vision and Wanda. There's Cap and his group, Black Widow, Falcon, Rhodey, and then there's Tony, Peter, Strange. The Guardians are doing something, and then Thor's doing his own thing, and then they're obviously telling the story of Thanos in the middle. So there's a lot going on there, and actually, like the first half of this movie, it's just jumping back and forth between all these groups of people. Which I mean, I think it's cool how they do it, how they jump back and forth. And like one of them, the transition is a flashback. It switches to a flashback, then flashes to a scene of the Guardians. So I think that's pretty cool. Like they'll use flashbacks sometimes. But then the last half of the movie, all the characters like started like getting together. Like Tony met with the Guardians, and Cap went to Wakanda and stuff. That's when it really went straight forward. There was no more jumping around. Just it was one plot, and they were all doing the same thing. They weren't off doing separate things, which I think is cool. Um, some of the character groups in this movie, well, all of the groups of characters in this movie, I really enjoyed. My favorite being Tony, Peter, Strange, Star Lord, Drax, and Mantis. The six of them actually had the best fight scene in the movie, in my opinion. I'm not gonna say anything about it till the spoiler review, but that was a really good fight. So I'm guessing I'm gonna end up rewinding the Blu-ray a lot to watch that fight when I get it. As for Thor, Rocket, and Groot, who we see in the trailers, doing something, their plot is it's not as fun. It's just a lot of like their plot's kind of like an exposition thing. Um, but there is something really funny about theirs. I'll talk about the spoiler review. But theirs is more just talking, and this is like kind of the sad one. Like you hear a lot like about you hear a lot of stuff about Thor, Rocket, and Groot, and this one feels a lot slower. It doesn't feel like as fast paced and action packed. This is more just flying around and exposition. But I'm fine with the outcome of this fight because it led to my favorite scene in the movie. Cap's what Cap was doing, I think, was really cool. Cap's introduction in this movie is fantastic, and it got a huge applause in my theater. That was the first time I've ever been in a movie where people like actually cheered. First time I've been in a movie where people clapped at the end too, so that was cool. But Cap's introduction, people cheered. And then the other time people cheered, I mention my spoiler review because that's a spoiler. Vision and Wanda, they started off. I was like, oh, so this is what we're doing, and then like 5 minutes later, I was like, "Oh, never mind. This is pretty sick." And how they handle Vision in this movie, I don't know. Like, I'll talk a lot more about it in my spoiler review. But because Vision's so powerful, they have to tone down his power somehow. A lot of these powerful characters, they have to either increase their power or lower their power, because otherwise they'd be way too OP. Which is actually has some. This also brings up the children of Thanos, which I'll talk more about in my spoiler review. But Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, Cull Obsidian, Ebony Maw. I think Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, and Cull Obsidian, I think they are really cool. They have cool power. Ebony Maw he is so sick, but I think he's too OP, and the way they handle that, I want to talk about in my spoiler review, because it's kind of upsetting what they did. But it's a spoiler, so okay, I can't talk about it in this. Um, so then, the character of Thanos, they pulled it off. Best MCU villain ever. I love Killmonger. I love this. I love him for different reasons, but you hear what Thanos is trying to say, and you're like, you don't agree with him at all. But you're like, I can see where you're coming from, and I can see how you think this is a good idea. And then you can also see the other side where it's, oh, I can see where the heroes, why the heroes think he's wrong, and then and then Thanos thinks he's right, and the heroes think he's right. But like, you can't disagree with what Thanos is saying. You know, he's a madman. He's the Mad Titan. So he's a psychopath, but he has good intentions the way he's doing it. And I really want to talk about that in my spoiler review, because Josh Brolin did great, and just this character in general, you actually sympathize with him in one really powerful scene. About, like, I'd say halfway through the movie, there's one really powerful scene that you really sympathize with Thanos. You still don't agree with him, but you kind of feel bad for the guy, and I think that is great. It's just fantastic how well this villain is. And then last, the Infinity Stones. So, obviously Thanos has to get 6 of them. But, like, early on, because the Avengers have time and mind. And Thanos needs time and mind. So, obviously, he's going to go for time and mind. So, most of this movie is really just spent running, like Strange and Vision, just running away with their stones. And, like, the first half of this movie is really exposition. And then the second half, it gets real. Like I mentioned early on, it gets more straightforward. But then once Thanos finally when he gets to Titan, which you see in the trailers, and he's fighting the Avengers, I'm like, oh my god, and it's awesome. So guys, I don't want to talk any more about it. I think I covered everything. I'm starting to creep towards spoiler territory because it's really hard to talk about this film without the use of spoilers. So, guys, that's gonna be it for my non-spoiler review of Avengers Infinity War. If I had to give it a rating, though, it's not perfect, so I'm not gonna give it an A+. Black Panther is perfect. My grade since the has increased. That film is an A+. Infinity War is one of the best. I'd probably give it an A- because I feel like the first half is really disjointed and jumpy, and then the second half it really gains its footing. So I'm gonna give it an A- or an it's hard because I want to give it an A- and I want to give it an A. So it's like somewhere in the middle, if you can figure out what that is. That's what I'm gonna give it. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review for Avengers Infinity War. Leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. And then hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive all notifications from me. And when you leave a comment, be sure to keep it spoiler free. If you want to talk about spoilers, that is in the comment section of my spoiler review. Don't put them here if people haven't seen the movie. Don't be mean. And guys, that's gonna be it. I'm the MCU Jedi, out.